A skull in the stars. My name is Johann Schmidt. I have not spoken my own name in a time that has no measure. Here, there is no time. There is only the cold, the stone, and the waiting. I am a guide, a ghost, a stonekeeper. A punishment for a life you were told was evil. But you were not there. You did not see what I saw. So listen. Listen to the story of a man, not a monster. The story of a boy who was given nothing, and so decided to take everything. I was born in the dark, in the dirt. My first memory is not of a mother's face, but of the gnawing pain of an empty stomach. Hunger was my first teacher. It taught me that the world is not kind. It is a beast, and you are either the one who eats or the one who is eaten. There is no in-between. I was a small boy, a weak boy. I learned to live in the shadows of alleys, to steal bread that was hard as a rock, to shiver through nights so cold they felt like a blade against your skin. I saw people walking in warm coats, laughing, holding hands. They lived in a different world, a world that had a door, and I was on the outside. Hate was the first thing I ever truly owned. It was a small, hot coal in my chest. It kept me warm when the winter winds blew. I hated the baker who would beat me for a stale crust of bread. I hated the fat policeman who would kick me for sleeping in a doorway. I hated the couples who would look at me with pity, with disgust, as if I were a piece of trash on their clean streets. They saw a thing, not a person. And when the world treats you like a thing, you learn to stop feeling like a person. You become hard. You become sharp. You become what you need to be to survive. Years passed. The boy grew. The hate grew with him. It was no longer a coal, it was a furnace. It burned away my fear. It burned away my tears. All that was left was ambition. A hunger not just for food, but for power. The power to never be small again. The power to never be hungry again. The power to be the one with the warm coat, the one behind the locked door. Then he found me, the leader, the one they all followed. He was speaking to a crowd, his voice like a storm. But he was not speaking to them, he was speaking to me. Every word was a log on the fire in my soul. He spoke of strength, of purity, of a nation that had been brought to its knees, just like I had. He spoke of rising up, of taking back what was ours. After he spoke, he walked through the crowd, and his eyes, they found mine. In a sea of adoring faces, he saw me, a skinny, angry boy in the back. He did not see a beggar. He did not see an orphan. He saw the same fire in my eyes that burned in his own. He saw a mirror. He took me in. He gave me a uniform. He gave me a purpose. For the first time, my hate had a direction. It was no longer the wild anger of a starving animal. It was a tool, a weapon. I learned that my personal suffering was not just mine. It was the suffering of a people. My weakness was their weakness. My desire for strength was their destiny. I excelled. Of course I did. The others, they were driven by belief in a flag, in a country. I was driven by something much more pure, the memory of cold and hunger. I knew what true weakness was, and I would spend my entire life running from it, destroying it wherever I found it. In others, and in myself. They spoke of gods, of myths and legends. I was not a foolish man. I did not believe in fairy tales, but I believed in power. I believed that the stories of gods were just stories of beings who had found a power that others had not. And I knew in the very core of my being that this power was real. It was hidden, waiting. I created Hydra, my Hydra, not his. His vision was small, a nation, a continent. My vision was the world, humanity. I saw humanity for what it is, a child. A lost, frightened child, screaming for freedom but begging for a master. They cry for liberty, but they build their own cages. They are chaotic, emotional, weak. They fight over dirt and gods and pieces of paper they call money. They are a disease. And I would be the cure. The super soldier serum. They thought it would be for their perfect soldier, their golden boy. But I knew its true purpose. It was for a visionary, someone strong enough to see the truth. I took it. I was the first. The pain was extraordinary. It felt like every cell in my body was being burned and remade. It was a baptism of fire, and when it was over, I was more than a man. The serum did not give me something new. It simply burned away everything that was not me. The weak flesh, the human facade. It revealed the truth that had always been inside me. I looked in the mirror. The world would see a monster. But I, for the first time, saw my true self. A symbol, a statement, that the human face is a mask. And beneath it, there is only the will to power. I was no longer Johann Schmidt, the starving boy. I was the Red Skull, and I would never be hungry again. Then came him, the boy from Brooklyn, Steve Rogers. They gave him the serum too, and it made him strong. But it did not make him wise. He was everything I was not. He was naive. He believed in good and evil, in right and wrong. He saw the world in bright, simple colors. I saw it as it was, a universe of gray, ruled by power and fear. He wore the colors of a flag, a piece of cloth. He fought for a country. I fought for an idea that would save all countries by destroying them. He was a shield. I was the blade. He wanted to protect the world as it was. I wanted to burn it down and build a better one from the ashes. Our battle was not just of flesh and bone. It was a battle of two futures. His future, messy, chaotic, free. A world where weak men make foolish choices and call it liberty. My future, orderly, clean, purposeful. A world where everyone has a place, a role, a master. A world without war, without hunger, without fear. Because I would be the one to command it. I would be the great father, the strong hand they all craved but were too proud to ask for. He could not understand. He called me a monster. And I looked at him, this perfect specimen, this symbol of hope, and I saw a fool. A beautiful, tragic fool. He fought to protect the very people who would have left him to die in an alley, just as they had left me. He did not understand the beast. I had lived in its belly. I found the Tesseract, the jewel of Odin's treasure room, the power of the gods in my hand. It was more beautiful than any sunrise. It whispered to me of galaxies, of other worlds, of a power beyond human comprehension. With it, I would not need armies. I would not need nations. I would be the new god. My order would not be for one country. It would be for all of existence. Hitler, Rogers, their small, petty squabbles. They were insects beneath my notice. I had ascended. On the Valkyrie, as the world fell away beneath us, I held infinity in my hand. And he, the boy in the silly costume, he stood before me. He spoke of freedom. Freedom! He could not see the beauty of my plan, the perfection of it. A world united. A humanity with one will, one purpose. My will. My purpose. I told him I was a god. And I was, for a moment. But the cube, it has a will of its own. It is a wild power not meant for human hands. Not even mine. I held it. I tried to command it. And it judged me. It showed me everything. And it took everything from me. The pain of that moment was not like the serum. It was a cold pain. A pain of pure knowledge. I was ripped apart, not my body, but my soul. I traveled through stars, through darkness, through places that have no name. I saw the birth and death of suns. I saw the great cosmic laws that govern all things. And I was cast out, stranded, here, on Formia. The irony is the cruelest joke the universe has ever told. Me, Johann Schmidt, the Red Skull. I, who sought ultimate power, became a slave. A prisoner to a single pathetic concept I have always despised. Love. I am the keeper of the Soul Stone. I, who believe love is a weakness, a chemical delusion, must now guide soul after soul to the ultimate expression of it. A life for a life. I watched the mad titan, Thanos, throw the only thing he ever loved from this cliff. I saw the tears in his eyes, and I felt nothing. Only a clinical curiosity. He believed he was doing it for a greater good, a familiar story. His methods were clumsy, but his goal, a corrected universe, it was not so different from my own. He, too, was a surgeon. I watched the spy and the archer fight to die for each other. Two little people, trying to wash the red from their ledgers. Their sacrifice meant nothing to the universe, but it meant everything to them. And it fulfilled the stone's demand. I see it all. I see their pain, their love, their loss. It is a parade of human weakness, and I am the master of ceremonies. Do I have regrets? Do not mistake this reflection for regret. My vision was not wrong. My philosophy is not wrong. Humanity is flawed. It needs a firm hand. My only mistake was ambition. I reached for the power of the gods before I was ready. I tried to hold the sun in my hand, and I was burned. I regret nothing, but I feel the weight of what I have lost. Not power, not victory, time. Here, there is only now. An endless, unchanging now. I have had eternity to think, to remember the boy in the alley, to wonder if there was another path. If one person, just one, had shown him a kindness, a piece of bread given freely, a warm smile, would the Red Skulls still have been born? Perhaps, perhaps not. The fire was always there. The kindness might only have been fuel for a different kind of flame. We will never know. What I know is this. I saw the truth. The world is a ship of fools, sailing toward an iceberg, and they are all fighting over which chair is the most comfortable. I tried to be the captain. I tried to steer the ship to a safe harbor, even if it meant locking the passengers in their cabins. And for that, they called me a monster. Now, I am nothing. A whisper, a shadow on a forgotten world. I guide others to the power I once sought, a power they will use for their own small emotional reasons. And I wait. I see you. I see all of you listening to my story. You are judging me now. You are weighing my life. You think you would have been different. You think you would have chosen the light. But you have never been truly hungry. You have never been truly alone. You have never looked at the world from the very bottom. When you have nothing, the only thing you want is everything. My name is Johann Schmidt, and I am alone with the truth.